You're waving frantically. Stephen Jackson, mayoral candidate, is here.
Because now I get to fire everything I've wanted to fire at him today. This is like my day. You ready?
Yeah, nothing like free-form word association with McCarty. Yeah. Lucky you, buddy.
$1 billion.
Okay.
Cross Bayou.
Okay.
Are you buying it?
Well, I mean, here's my position. They haven't come to the commission on anything, and they haven't come to anything formally that I need. But here's what I'll tell people. I think we should be a city that sits back and we should at least listen to people's ideas. And if there are things that we can make work, we should make it work. But we should not just cast aspersion on them just for the purpose of who brought it up or there are some flaws in it. We need to vet them. We need to properly vet it and do our due diligence as a city and then make a decision as a community, not as one single person making a decision.
So let people vote on it.
I wouldn't be, if that was the will of everybody. If we wanted to put it out to a referendum, that may be the best option to go.
GDC needing only 4 votes and the mayor's approval to make it work. You know that's not going to be their plan one.
Right. Well, I think right now, I think what they need is they need someone who will at least listen to them, someone who could at least say, here's what the city can and cannot do. Because what we shouldn't do is we shouldn't sell ourselves as if you have an idea, you can't be heard. If you have an idea, let's talk about it. Let's vet it. Let's put a team of economic development professionals, a team of economic development eyes on it, and let's vet these ideas. Some will make it, some won't. The $1 billion, that is a little high, but again, the devil is always in the details.
I had made the point a couple of times this week and a couple of points last, referring to Cross Bayou. I said they want a municipal, they want office space, they want retail space, they want living space. I said everything they want to build new is within 800 yards. It's called downtown Shreveport.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so that's why I think we have to have a community conversation. That's what's missing out of both Cross Bayous, the one that was proposed last year and the one that's on the table now. Is we have not had a serious community conversation. And to be honest, I was actually the project manager when I worked with Mayor Glover on Cross Bayou. And if you will recall, we had at least 2 charrettes on the issue because we received an EPA grant, and we had 2 community planning sessions at the convention center where we spent all day talking about just planning for Cross Bayou.
And yet, pardon me, it remains a vast expanse of nothing.
Absolutely, because what we don't have is what we tend to see is we'll do a study and it'll sit on a shelf, or we'll do a community charrette and it will sit on a shelf. What we have to do is we have to get in the business of using these plans and studies that we're paying for, and we have to put them to work. There's a Cross Bayou study there's a Cross Bayou aspect of the master plan, but we don't even talk about the master plan anymore.
We don't even talk about the election in '96.
Absolutely.
When we voted for a Cross Bayou Park. I want to ask you about that because you brought up your work with Cedric Glover. He's been criticized by this administration for the bond issue that passed. A lot of that just sat and it didn't get done. And when they got in, they realized we haven't started these projects. I know Ninth Street, for one, it's been sitting, bond money's passed over 5 years ago. Nary a thing's been done.
Well, I think that's unfair. I think this administration has criticized the previous administration for everything that has gone wrong while taking credit for everything that has gone right that they were blessed with. What we have to understand is there are process and procedures that a city has to go through.
It can take 5 years to do a street overlay?
I mean, if you have contract, if you have the bid that comes in overbid, or we have to follow state law. And that's what folks have to understand. We can't just go out and do things overnight unless there are emergency circumstances.
But what about the Cross Bayou Park from '96? Can you assure me that at least somebody in your administration, if you're mayor, will go back and look at the bond proposals over the years and say, where are we on all these?
Correct. And I'll say we're not the same city we were in 1996.
No.
We've changed. What we have to do is we have to have a present day conversation, community conversation about what do we want to see. Do we want to see a park? Some people will say we have enough parks. You know, there's a conversation about that. Or what is it that we want to see? Some people will tell you we shouldn't build any more office space because we have office space. Some folks say we should put something more recreational use down there where folks can dock in and bring their boats in or stuff like that and enjoy. So there has to be a community conversation about Cross Bayou, and I think that is what's missing in both of them, the first one and the one that's on the table now.
Your last 30 seconds. What is Stephen Jackson's biggest flaw?
I mean, I've always been told I can do more listening and talking, and I tell people all the time, I'm always trying to evolve. I'm always doing a self-evaluation of myself. So I'm not perfect. I think it's biblically written. I count not myself to have apprehended, but every day that I wake up, I press forward the mark of the calling of Jesus. So nobody's perfect in this race. There are no flawless individuals. I don't live in a glass house. I may be able to throw the second stone, but I'm not eligible to throw the first.